Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions, first one of 2025. So we're up to week number 245. So what are we making today? We are making slot pockets. Now, what you're going to need if you want to craft along, you're going to need some paper. Now, I've got thicker paper here, so this all varies between it's between 180 GSM and 250 GSM. So certain pages are just thicker than others. That's just because that's what I've been able to get hold of at the time. Mine are all printables. Again, that's because that's what I predominantly have these days. You do not have to use printables. You can use whatever you like. Scrapbook paper obviously is awesome for these. You know, anything at all really. Book pages would be fine, sheet music would be fine. My only caveat there would be if they're not very thick pages, which, you know, are often not, you know, more often than not, pages aren't that thick, I would recommend doubling them up, just so that they're a bit thicker. You're going to need some scissors or a paper trimmer, depending on how you like to, obviously, you know, cut your pieces down. You may need a bone folder. I'm going to use my scissor handles, but, you know, it's up to you kind of how you do it. You're going to need some glue. Again, I always use my Anita's tacky glue when I'm gluing down just paper to paper. You can stitch these, but I'm going to show the gluing method because I like to try and keep the mass making, you know, accessible for everybody, and not everybody has a sewing machine. And then I like to have a wet wipe, or, you know, a dried wet wipe, to just mop out and dab out any excess glue that's kind of seeping out. And then aside from that, you may like to have a card for, and then in addition to that, you may like to have a card that you can kind of like mop your, you know, spread your glue out. You know, obviously you could use a traditional glue spreader or whatever, or you can just, you know, use your fingers. But I like to use a card. Something like an old store card or something is fine, but I've just got this little card here, which actually I have to say weirdly is wooden. So I'm not sure whether this might just not last for very long. We shall see. Okay, so how do we make these? Let's have a look and get making. Now, I have got mainly large pieces of paper, but I have got some smaller kind of scrappier pieces, which I'm going to utilise as well. So, you know, again, if you've got scraps of paper, you can, you know, of course, use scraps. But just kind of mix them in and, yeah, just kind of mix and match them, really. So let's take this. Now, this I've printed double-sided, and normally I would really hoard my double-sided. But, hey, I'm just going to kind of stop hoarding things for the new year. I mean, obviously, we're only into the first week of the year. So by 2 weeks' time, that's gone out the window, and I'll no longer be trying not to hoard things. But for now, I'm just trying to be like, no, don't be ridiculous. You can always print more. Now, I'm going to cut mine in half, again, because I tend to make journals with this size page. This is an A4 sheet of paper. Okay, so I'm going to squish this down. And this is how I'm going to gauge kind of the sort of rough size that I want my pieces to be. This is my base of my pocket, okay? So if this were my full size page, obviously I don't want it quite as wide as the page because it's, you know, then going to not be able to be glued down. So I'm going to just take it over a fraction. Now, I have to say, this is not an exact science. And of course, you could make these, you know, whatever size you liked. If you wanted to make them much narrower than this, you know, much smaller than this, you could, of course, do that as well. But I'm just going to make them like this. And then all I'm going to do, I don't want them too tall. So, you know, if I folded that in half, for example, I feel like that's possibly a little bit too tall. So I'm going to just take it slightly less than half, more like this sort of height. Okay. And again, there's no exact science, but if I give you a rough idea, so my size here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5.5 by 1, 2, 3, just over 3.5. So 5.5 by 3.5, that kind of measurement. Okay, so I'm just going to take this down like that. Okay, so that's my base of my pocket. Just try and tidy that up. I like to fold my papers in half and use that as my guideline for where to cut. Obviously, if you're more comfortable with a paper trimmer, you don't need to be doing all that folding and messing about. Okay, so that's my little pocket there. And then what I want to do is just make what I'm calling the slot part of these pockets to the side of here. So for this, I'm going to use one of my smaller scrap type pieces. So let's find a piece that we think complements this quite nicely. Oh, that does, doesn't it? Yeah, that does complement that quite nicely. So that side or that side? Probably that side, so as we get more of this, I think. So just going to take this down. Now this is from my Capital collection papers, but I've printed these 2 to a page. Obviously, as you can see, I've used kind of a portion of it already, so I've just got half of it left. Okay, as it happens, it will be fine that way. So then I probably have enough to do a couple of pockets from this. Or if not, I can make a, you know, a cluster or something like that. So I'm just going to literally cut this down here. Like that. Okie dokie. And then all I want to do is obviously glue this onto here. So for that, just going to kind of put this up there so I can see roughly my size that I want to do it. And I'm just going to glue round. Oops. So just a thin bead of glue here, like that. And then I can just place this down. Oh, I'm now thinking, oh well. Pop it down like that. And just then press that down. So this is where obviously your dried baby wipe comes in handy, and then you can just spread your glue out with your glue spreader. Try and spread probably away from this edge, because otherwise all you're doing is spreading your glue, you know, onto your pocket. But if you spread it out, then hopefully it's going to kind of avoid that. Now you can see mine needs some trimming down. Again, that's just because I find it easier to kind of glue it on and then trim it up than try and make it the exact size of the pocket and then find that actually I've mucked up my measurements and, you know, my pieces are the wrong sizes. So again, you know, I'm just showing how I find easiest to make them, but I'm not necessarily saying that that's, you know, going to suit everybody. And that's literally it. So when I use this on a page, I would glue it down on 3 sides. It would be a top loading pocket here. And then you've also got what I would call the slot. Oops, that's a bit thick to go in there. The slot here, which is the slot pocket. So, I mean, they don't get much easier than that, do they? So I will just demonstrate it again. Obviously, it's not very complicated or anything, but just, you know, so that I'm really, you know, hopefully being very helpful. Just in case it didn't kind of make sense the first time around. So I'm going to try and trim it up here. Like that. Hopefully, oh my goodness, hopefully get it straighter, but no, not that time. Right, okay, not too bad. And then I'm going to just take this down across the bottom. So like that. And then we just want to obviously pop our slot on. So again, this one is, you know, more or less the same size as the other one, but like you can see, it's, you know, not an exact science. So let me just see what small bits that I've got again here. I mean, we could kind of go for something completely different. Oh, this is lovely. So this again is actually from the Capital collection, but I mean, I do find myself using these papers all the time, I have to say. They're very, very versatile. They seem to go with a lot of things. Okay, so just trim that down. And again, this time I'm going to put it on this side so that I keep these pretty blues, you know, very visible on there. So like that, for example. Okay, so I'll just trim this one down after the event. So I can just pop the glue, you know, approximately where I want that. Now, if you were using your sewing machine, for those people who prefer to use the sewing machine, then instead of gluing round your, sorry, this is the first time I've used my glue today. Let me just get it working. Hold on. Okay. Right. Okay, sorry, just had to unclog my glue. So just a bit of glue down here. Oops. And then just a bit of glue along this side. like that. Okay, and then we just pop our pocket on. Now, if you were using your sewing machine, for those people who prefer to sew these, and they do, you know, they do look pretty sewn, but equally I think glued is fine too. Then what you could do is obviously just put your piece on like this. I would recommend probably do cut it to size if you're using your sewing machine, just because it's going to be easier to judge where you need to stitch to. And then all you're going to do is stitch around the 3 sides instead. Or alternatively, you could actually stitch around your entire piece, just straight around the edge of the entire piece, and that way you've got like a frame going around your whole pocket. So it's up to you, but super simple to stitch them. I mean, to be honest, probably actually works out quicker to stitch them than it does to glue them. Another little tip that I would say is if you are going to be gluing them, if you are going to be stitching them, not gluing them, then what you could do is just run some glue down here. So when you're layering your pieces up to take to the sewing machine, so you can do them still assembly line style, just glue them on the end. Don't glue down these sides. That's just going to hold your paper together until you get to the sewing machine, and then you can just stitch all the way around. So that's just, you know, what I would do if I was taking them to the sewing machine. I'd maybe kind of like pile them up beforehand, glue them on the end so as I know which papers are going with which, and then I would just stitch around them on the sewing machine. But they're pretty nice pockets, aren't they, to be honest? And obviously, again, like all the things that we do, they're just very, very, very easy to make. So we're going to assembly line a bunch of these, and by that I just mean kind of, you know, do all the same stages at the same time and just relax and have a catch up. So yeah, it feels like a long time since I've done a mass making. I will try and remember to share with you what papers I'm using when I'm using each paper, because I know that, you know, you like to know what papers I'm using. So this is the Paris collection papers, and this is the Vintage Desk second edition here. So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to do all my folding for sheets that I've got that are full sheets. I'll just kind of fold them all down. This is from my perfume collection. Obviously this one's not a full sheet, so in order to make sure that I cut it down the same, you know, or the correct size, I'm going to actually just cut it, fold it in like that, and that way I know it kind of has to go in around there. Okay. And this is my steampunks in the pinks and greens, I think it is. So again, just take that down. This I think is from the pink roses. I'm going to probably save that for a side piece. And then this is from the lavender collection. Okay. Right, so yeah, let's just have a catch up. So it feels like ages and ages since I've done a mass making, I have to say, because obviously the last time I did a mass making was not just the week before Christmas, but the week before that, because obviously then I didn't do a mass making on Christmas Eve in the end, because I wanted to finish off the you know, painted background pages with our pocket book that we did, with the collage masterboards and things. Now I do have a video actually coming up using all of those together. So we did the video where we kind of looked at all those different storage options using the pocket book and things like that. And I do have then a video coming up now where we actually, you know, make something using those combination of books. So yeah, I mean, obviously there is a temptation that again I want to hoard those books, but no, I must get using them. So yeah, I'm going to try and use them. So yeah, feels like a long time since I've done a mass making. So my first thing to say is a massive Happy New Year. Obviously I did do a New Year video, but just in case you didn't see that, then yes, a massive Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and a very happy New Year. Massive thank you to everybody who watched my Back to Basics series and for all your lovely feedback and comments and things. And then in my Happy New Year video, obviously I did talk about plans for the channel and things like that. I would say the majority of people said they did want to continue with the mass makings. So hence I'm going to continue with those, you know, for the time being. I do love filming them because I feel like we have a proper catch up then. Whereas a lot of videos, you know, I've maybe filmed them in advance, and so they're not really live, as I would call it. Whereas this, I'm filming it always the day before. So we're really having as much of a live conversation as we could possibly have, you know. So yeah, just I will carry on unless they obviously become, you know, so sort of unpopular, i.e., you know, that the views are so far down that they're actually kind of more doing harm, you know, by keeping them running, because obviously then YouTube is like, oh, this women's videos are awful. You know, then obviously we'll have to kind of like review that. But for the time being, I'm thinking, you know, keep them up. So now I'm wondering which way to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. So yes, anyway, so hence I'm now obviously here doing the mass making. So my goodness, yes, it's been such a long time. So what has been going on? Well, as part of my, you know, channel plans, I have now started filming an X-Piles series. So I've got a lot more to do. Yeah, so it will be a while yet before that actually, you know, is ready to go out, I'm afraid. So, but yes, that's in the making now. And, you know, lots of you said that you've really enjoyed my X-Piles series before in the past. So hopefully you will really love it and will join me. Maybe you will join in. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically when we kind of like massively clear our desk over the course of sometimes a week. I have to say a couple of times, or no, I think I've only done 2 series, but seasons, let's call them seasons. So yeah, I've only done 2. I have to say the first one I think we did achieve in a week. The second one, it went over and was, no, I can't see which my straight edge is. Not sure. I think it's this edge. The second one I think we did over like 10 days. I have to say my desk is very, very messy at the moment. So something's telling me it will probably be a longer series. So maybe like 10 days. But yeah, hopefully you guys will join me for that, because, you know, I mean, definitely in my case, it's a very much needed thing. And obviously lots of you have said that your desks are also looking pretty abysmal. So you may think that actually, you know, it would be a good chance to join in and clear your desk too. So I would love it, absolutely love it if you do. So I'm busy filming that at the moment. So that's very exciting. I've got, in the pipeline, I'm doing a Vintage Desk 3 digital at the moment. So, yep, because I've, you know, had feedback from the Vintage Desk 1 that it's, you know, really nice and I love using it myself. So, yep, I'm doing a Vintage Desk 3 now, digital. So I'm working on that. Yeah, so what else have I been doing? Well, I have to say I'm thrown a little bit because over Christmas, so I literally did nothing other than worked, like between Christmas and New Year. It was so boring. Well, I mean, not for me, for me, because I was obviously working and I love working. But my poor daughter, she was like literally at home with me for the whole time. My son had gone on holiday. So it was just her and I, and she must have been so bored. But obviously I still had to film like my Back to Basics series and things. So, you know, there was kind of a lot of things to do. I'd filmed most of it, but I think I had 2 episodes or 3 episodes left to film. So, you know, it was just how it worked out, to be honest. But, I mean, you know, every day I would say to her, oh, you know, is there anything you would like to do? Because, of course, I didn't want to just ruin her Christmas break by, you know, working the whole time. But she assured me there was nothing she wanted to do. So hopefully it was okay. But by the time my son came back, which he got back on New Year's Eve, I have to say I was feeling almost like a bit depressed, to be honest, because I'd just been in really all the time. Other than obviously going to the gym in the morning, I'd just been in and just been working. My daughter had gone across to the park with her friends and things like that quite a bit. So she had, you know, she'd been doing what she wanted to do and sort of having quite a nice time. But I had kind of like practically not been out the house, which was just, yeah, terrible for obviously your sanity and things. So, yeah, anyway, so I was so pleased when he got home and it was like, oh, yay, I've got company, you know. I mean, not that my daughter's not company, but to be honest, she chooses really to be like on the phone to her friends most of the time and things like that, which, I mean, again, that's exactly how it should be, isn't it? When they're, you know, when you're children, you should obviously want to be chatting to your friends and not your mum. You know, so yeah, it was just like, oh my goodness. And the other thing is the weather was so grey and so drab for the whole of Christmas. Like, I think every single day it was just grey. So there was no like let up in that. It was just appalling weather the whole time. You know, which, oh, that's so depressing, isn't it? So yeah, that was not very good, to be honest. Anyway, so what did I do? Other than the working, the only time that we went out really to do anything at all really was we went on a sausage dog walk. Down the beach. So that was the only kind of thing that we did. That was also a really grey drab day, but I just thought, oh, let's get out and get some fresh air. And you know, Bo would love that because she also must have been bored stiff. So yeah, we did go on that, but aside from that, we'd done nothing. Anyway, then at the weekend, so Natalie, my sister, who, you know, works with me on a Friday, it was her birthday, like yesterday, so Sunday, obviously, because I'm filming this on Monday. It was her birthday, and we were so lucky because my mum and dad treated her and my daughter, who's got her birthday coming up this week, to a night away in a hotel with them. So my sister and her son, me and my daughter, and my mum and dad. And it was kind of like for my daughter's birthday and my sister's birthday. And oh my goodness, we had such a nice time. We were only gone for like one night. And this sounds so strange, but given the fact we were only gone for one night, it's so weird because I now feel like Christmas was yonks away. It was really strange when we came home because my daughter's gone back to school today and I felt like, what? She's going back to school? Or, you know, was she off? My whole kind of sense of time had just totally gone out the window. It was just the most bizarre thing. So yeah, I don't know why that was, whether it was because I had literally barely been out the house for the whole of over Christmas, and so actually then just going away for just that one night seemed such a massive kind of like, yay, I don't know. But yeah, really, really weird. I've never kind of experienced anything so strange like that before. But anyway, so yeah, that was absolutely so lovely. So that was what we did at the weekend. So we went on Saturday morning and we got back, you know, Sunday evening. So, you know, it was literally like, well, just over 24 hours. But my goodness, like I said, it was such a lovely time that it felt like, you know, we'd been away like on a holiday almost. It was so odd. But yeah, we obviously had such a really nice time, and it was just obviously so needed. And so, yeah, just so lovely. So yeah, needless to say, had like the loveliest time at the weekend. Ate a lot of food. I mean, we didn't really do anything. We just kind of like went, you know, hung out in the hotel. We went to the shopping place that was quite nearby. You know, just did a little bit of shopping. I had some things to take back, like from Christmas presents that I got for my daughter, and she didn't kind of, you know, decided she didn't really want. So yeah, I just took those things back, and yeah, it was just the nicest time. But on the Saturday night, so we'd gone, like I say, on the Saturday lunchtime till like Sunday, it was a like dinner, bed and breakfast. So we had obviously a meal in the hotel. Oh my goodness, it was such wonderful food, I have to say. So delicious. And yeah, just really lovely. And again, my diet's not been very good, I have to say, over Christmas. So I felt like it was so nice to have some kind of like home cooked healthy food. Well, I'm not necessarily saying it's so healthy, but home cooked food anyway, rather than like crisps and rubbish. So yeah, it was really good. I really need to now knuckle down and start behaving with my eating and being a bit healthier, because my goodness, I have been just absolutely terrible for the longest time. So yeah, it's time to pack that in now and knuckle down and actually eat healthily. But yeah, we shall see whether that pans out. But right, just going to cut this around here. Anyway, yeah, we just had such a wonderful, wonderful time. So that was really lovely. So yes, it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. So I've been asking her for ages, what would you want to do on your birthday? You know, obviously she's kind of like, oh no, I'm back to school. And I said to her, well, you know, being back to school is like a fun thing, because actually then, you know, you're with all your friends, you know, you're going to have a really nice time. Why would you want to be at home with me when I'm so boring? I'd just be like working, you know. So, yeah, anyway, she was kind of disappointed, obviously, at having to go back to school. But, you know, so last night she had a little bit of a meltdown, I have to say. Kind of, you know, she said, oh, I don't want everyone to sing happy birthday to me, you know, because I'm going to feel really embarrassed. I did say to her, well, I can phone your school if you like. And, you know, I can ask the teacher to not really tell anyone that it's your birthday. And then we talked about it. And I said, the problem is you will go around and tell your friends it's your birthday, you know. And then it will get out. I said, but I could phone your teacher and ask them, you know, can they just not sort of, I don't know how it works, but, you know, not stop the class and say, shall we sing happy birthday? You know, so that you don't have that kind of worry. So I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, she obviously was feeling a bit gutted about having to go back to school on her birthday. But I said to her, I think it's a good thing. That's a fun thing, you know. It would be way worse to just be at home being like, you know, bored with me like normal. So yeah, hopefully that was just, it was probably an overtired thing where she's got, you know, very tired and things while we were away, and, you know, like obviously, yeah, just probably got overtired. But yeah, I hope she's okay today. So anyway, I kept saying to her, you know, what would you actually like to do? So she's decided she doesn't want to do anything on her birthday, because she's gutted that she can't have like a full day. Like, you know, my son will be at work and things like that. So, you know, and she will obviously be at school, but he then will get back even later than she will. So she said she doesn't really want to do anything on the Tuesday. She would prefer to do something at the weekend for her birthday instead. So that's absolutely fine. So we're going to do that instead. I've just got some bits here from my vintage desk ephemera selection. So I'm just going to see whether I might prefer to have these as the little slot pockets. I think they might work quite nicely. So yeah, I might do that, to be honest. Let's just see which ones. Okay, so I might just take the, yeah, cut the edge off and use some of these. Yeah, so we're going to do that instead. And, you know, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, hopefully we're going to have a nice time. She's going to give it some thought today, what she'd actually like to do on her birthday, i.e. at the weekend when we celebrate her birthday. We had been talking about an escape room, which is weird because, yeah, I don't know if she really liked the escape rooms that much when we used to do them sort of for my eldest son's birthday. But hey, she seemed to think that that is what she would like to do. But I suspect she might change her mind yet today. So she's going to let us know once she's given it a bit of thought what she thinks she might like to do. So we shall see. But yeah, so we're going to be, you know, doing something for her birthday on Saturday. That's what we're going to be doing on Saturday. So, and again, present-wise, I said to her, well, what types of things do you think you might like for your birthday, you know, present-wise? So she said that she would like to order some things online. So we went online, and again, I did that thing, you know, where it's like, I must not try and take over. This is her birthday. Let her have her choice of what she would like for her birthday. Oh my goodness, that's just so easier said than done, because obviously we went on to, you know, a couple of different websites that she had looked at, and she just literally wants to buy junk. Like just rubbish. So, you know, there's like a £3.50 gadget to clean your makeup brushes, and I don't know, some, well, I mean, she even had like makeup wipes, you know, to take makeup off with and things, you know, because it's all about skincare with little girls now. So, you know, and I just thought, oh, this is just rubbish, you know. So I kept saying to her, well, are you sure you want these things? You know, would you prefer, because obviously it's just been Christmas, so you don't really kind of need anything at the moment. Would you prefer I just give you some money, you know, and I'll look after it, but I'll give it to you so you've seen it and had the excitement of receiving it. And then we will obviously, you know, spend it like maybe like in June type time when, you know, you perhaps are in need of some more things, or you've suddenly seen some more things that you might like. I mean, she said no, but yeah, I can't help but think at the moment she doesn't really need or want anything, and she's just sort of, yeah, not picking rubbish because of that necessarily, because she is very drawn to rubbish, to say, but oh, it's really hard, isn't it? Because I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can't bring myself to spend the money on stuff that is literally, you know, tat, really. Oh, I mean, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? But I just kind of think, oh, she's going to get that. And then, you know, like a lot of it, within literally like a week or so, she won't even be using it. You know, sort of, she'll have decided that it's rubbish. You know, it's not even kind of like working as she'd like. You know, the makeup brush gadget, I'm sure, probably won't be quite as good as she'd hoped. You know, cleaning gadget, or, you know, the wipes. She'll have used them all up. And then I feel like, well, then she's going to feel like she's had nothing for her birthday. So, I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. And then yeah, what did we do over Christmas? Oh yes, so Christmas Day we were having an Indian for our Christmas dinner, and I had talked about this you know, before Christmas, and I said we were going to an Indian restaurant. We'd never done that before for Christmas Day, so it was a bit like, oh my goodness, what's that going to be like? It was really nice. So it was just kind of just perfect, to be honest. Just, you know, exactly kind of stress-free, all of that. It was, yeah, it was really nice. I mean, the only thing that I would say, I don't know why, but stupidly, I thought that they would have crackers, like, on the table. And of course they didn't. Now, I have to say, that's on me. I don't know why I even thought that they would have crackers, to be honest. Because, of course, you know, why would they have crackers? You know, they, you know, don't, I think, celebrate Christmas probably. So I'm just going to check whether I might prefer this instead. So yeah, so I don't even know really why I thought that they would have crackers. So, you know, completely ridiculous expectation on my part, really. But it was such delicious food. So, I mean, it obviously it didn't really feel overly festive, it's got to be said. But food-wise and, you know, hassle-free, Christmas-wise, it was absolutely perfect. So, yeah, we had a very nice time. So, yeah, it was good. I would recommend it, probably. I'm not saying it would be everyone's cup of tea, and I could see how a lot of people would be thinking, oh my goodness, I would hate to do that, you know, because there were like no crackers and things like that. But I think if you go expecting there to be no crackers and all of that, then yeah, we had a really nice time, and we all said it was really great. So yeah, we had a lot of food. I mean, I think we sat down in there at 2:30. We didn't leave there till 5. So to give you a sort of idea, I mean, we were pretty much eating most of that time. You know, it wasn't like they were really slow service or anything like that. There might have been about half an hour at the end, like between the main course and the pudding, but that was it. So very, very, you know, generous, and yeah, great size portions, very delicious food. I hadn't actually had an Indian for, oh my goodness, like probably like 10 years, because I don't really like how it makes me feel the next day. I love it while I'm eating it, and then the next day I kind of think, oh, I feel horrible now. I swapped that for that because I thought actually that went better. Yeah, I don't really like it the next day. I don't necessarily feel great, you know, the next day. I'm kind of like, oh, you know, I don't feel great the next day. I don't really like kind of that taste in my mouth the next day because it's quite oniony and things. But it's such a shame because while I'm eating it, I absolutely love it. So I was a little bit worried because I thought, oh, you know, I hope I'm going to sort of not regret this. Anyway, I didn't regret it. It was absolutely delicious. So yeah, very, very nice. And it was, you know, really good value, like I say. So there we go. So yeah, that was really, really nice. And then aside from just working for the entire Christmas, you know, between Christmas and New Year period, I watched a few things on Netflix. So what would I recommend? Actually, I can now think, I obviously did a couple more things than I thought, because I've just thought I did also go to the cinema with my sister, and we went in to watch Better Man, which Better Man, it was the Robbie Williams, the pop star, not Robin Williams, the late sort of, you know, comedian type guy, you know, who acted, obviously, Mrs. Doubtfire. Not him, but Robbie Williams, the, you know, the pop singer who was in Take That. So I'd seen the trailer of that, and it showed him like with a monkey face on it, or on him, and just it looked really weird, and I thought, I'm not sure whether I'm going to really enjoy that film, to be honest, you know, because I just thought, how are you going to keep looking at him, taking him seriously when he's dressed up like a monkey? Anyway, after the first kind of couple of scenes, you actually didn't really notice that much. I know that sounds really strange, but yeah, you just kind of got used to seeing him like that, and it was just then the storyline carrying the film through. So yeah, really enjoyed it. So I went to see that with my sister. The children went to see, so her son and my daughter, they went to see the Lion King movie, the new one called Mufasa. We obviously didn't see that. The kids said it was really good. I don't know whether it was really or not, but I'm sure it probably was. But yeah, the Better Man film, you know, it was unusual, but it was good. So yeah, I would recommend that probably. And then on New Year's Day, my son was then back. He's normally my cinema buddy. We went to see, oh gosh, what was it called? We Live in Time was the name of the film. And that was probably like, yeah, one of the movies that opened on New Year's Day. And I can't really think what else had opened on New Year's Day. But anyway, we went to see that. It was, yeah, really good film. It jumped about a little bit at first, you know, kind of in time. It was jumping about, and it wasn't like saying on the screen, oh, 2 years later, or, you know. So you just kind of had to stick with it and then think, oh, this is when they're married, or, oh, this was here, you know. Which I'm not that keen normally when films do things like flicking around, but you know, because I find it a little bit, oh gosh, where are we now? Is that then before or after? But it was okay. It worked okay. And by sort of, you know, properly into the film, if you see what I mean, like say a third in, it had stopped doing that. So that was fine. Yeah, it was a good film. It was sad, but it was very lovely. You know, it was, yeah, a lovely film. So yeah, I would recommend that probably. We enjoyed it. My son enjoyed it and I enjoyed it. So yeah, that was quite good. So those were my only outings. But I watched some stuff on Netflix. So what did I watch? I watched something called Unbelievable. Now I have to say this is quite a hard watch. So it said it was loosely based on a true story, or loosely inspired by true events, not based on a true story, inspired by true events. So I don't know how true, you know, it was to kind of those true events. I don't know obviously what, you know, where those true events were. Obviously the series was based in America. You know, I don't know whether it was in America, the events that inspired it. And maybe some of you lovely ladies, maybe you know the true events that did inspire it. I don't know. But oh, it was very, very, very good, I have to say. So I binged watched that literally in a couple of evenings. Yeah, had quite a nice time. My craft things were all over the bed. You know, I was eating crisps. And yeah, binge watching that. So yeah, it was really, really good. So it was quite graphic in a couple of places. It obviously was quite a sort of hard storyline. So yeah, I mean, definitely not suitable for children. So, you know, just putting that out there. But yeah, I mean, if you quite like a gritty kind of like, not saying true crime, because obviously it wasn't a true story as such, but yeah, just a sort of, I don't know, like a, yeah, sort of like an investigative drama type thing, because a lot of it was sort of like the police investigation and things. So, and it had that, oh my goodness, I can never remember her name. She was in Knives Out. She was in that film Muriel's Wedding. That was the first film I ever saw her in. Can't ever remember her name, but she's that brilliant actress. She's like lovely, you know, very slim lady, attractive, longish hair. Oh my goodness, I can't think of her name to save my life. Oh, yeah, I can't think, I'm afraid. But anyway, it had her in it. And did I know the other person? I can't think who the other person was. No, I don't think I recognised the other lady as like the lead detectives or lead police, or yeah. Anyway, it was really good. So yeah, but only if you're kind of okay with things that are of quite a sort of sensitive nature. And yeah, really recommend that. So that was on Netflix. Then another thing that I watched was it was called The Later Daters. Had to think then. Yeah, The Later Daters. So never heard of this, but it came up, you know, like on the home screen of, I don't know whether it was in the top 10. It could have been, but anyway, it was on my recommended, you know, home screen. So it was obviously following the dating escapades of like some older daters, so like probably, you know, mid-50s and up really. Some had been like single. I think one guy, he might have never been married, but some of them, they'd maybe like been widowed or, you know, divorced, things like that. So I really enjoyed it. There were only maybe about 6 episodes, possibly 8, not many episodes anyway. And again, I just binge watched it, you know, yeah, in a couple of evenings. It was so good. So there was this one lady, Suzanne, who she just had so much energy, and she was such a fun, you know, really not necessarily extrovert, but, you know, fun, interesting lady. You know, she had so much kind of about her. And I think she went out on dates with 3 different men. One of them, I think she went out with twice. And all the men really liked her. I mean, she definitely made the best of how she looked. I can't remember how old she was, but, you know, she kind of always was well put together and all of that kind of stuff. But more than that, she was such a vibrant character. I mean, when I say character, I mean her character was so vibrant. I mean, you know, this was a real life thing. It wasn't like a drama. But she just, yeah, had such a vibrant nature about her. And I just thought, I can see why everyone really likes her, because she must have been such a lot of fun to be around, or she must be such a lot of fun to be around. Yeah, and there was a couple of quite handsome men in it, so that was quite nice. Yeah, it was really good. Really enjoyed that. Now, I'm just having a look to decide which one to decorate up. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've done 9, which that's not too bad, is it, to be honest? So yeah, I think we've done okay there. Might use this one. So this is my Valentine's collection with my perfume collection, and I bought along some bits as like topper type pieces. So I've got here a page from my Avery toppers. Oh, I'm wondering if they would be too small now, and I should have bought some full-size ones along. Wonder if I've got any full-size ones here, like just inside of me, to save me actually having to print some more stuff out. Or maybe I've got some up here. Hold on 2 seconds while I just sort through and see what I've got. Just because I don't want to have to really stop the video and go and actually print some stuff. would be better to use if I've actually got things right here right now. Okay. Yeah, anyway, so I just really enjoyed that program. The Later Daters, would really recommend it. Very fun. And yeah, I mean, let me know below, have you watched that program? If you have, what did you think of you know, the matches? I mean, obviously they were picking who they then, you know, wanted to see again. But yeah, some of them I was kind of surprised at the people that they chose, to be honest, you know, but, you know, because I felt like they'd really gelled with perhaps somebody else. But it was a fun program to watch. So I hope they do another one. Still having a look to see if I've got any more of the Avery pieces in a bigger size. Of course I haven't. That would just be so easy, wouldn't it? Oh, that's really annoying. Oh, I do have that. I don't know. It's probably a bit wasteful, but oh well. I don't know whether that is even going to go that brilliantly on there. Well, should we give it a try? Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to take this here. Yeah, anyway, so really enjoyed that. Let me know below. Did you watch it? Who did you like? You know, who did you think was kind of well matched and well suited? What did you think to it? Did you like the program? I loved it. It was so fun. So fun. I mean, I have to say, this lady, Suzanne, she often seemed to know people as well who knew the people she was out on the date with. Would be like, oh, I know so-and-so who goes there. You know, kind of like had sort of loose connections with the people. So I thought she obviously had a very vibrant life going on. And yeah, very interesting, fun sort of lady. So yeah, that was really fun. Would definitely recommend that. And of course now Squid Game, the second Squid Game is now on Netflix. So watched 2 episodes last night when, you know, when we got home. So yeah, just because my son was quite keen to watch it. So we were like, oh, go on then, let's watch a couple. At first, it took me a while to get into it because I have to be truthful, I couldn't really remember how it sort of finished up in that first one. I can remember enjoying the first series, but I didn't really remember how it ended or anything. So then trying to get back into it, I kept on having to make him pause it and saying, who was that? What was that about? What did they do? He's, oh, Mum, what's wrong with you? You know, it's like, I just can't really remember what, you know, what had been happening in the first one. So yeah, that was kind of annoying. I just wondered whether I could have used a little frame on here as well, to be honest. Anyway, yeah, so that was what we did last night, what we watched. So yeah, it started, I was like, well, I have to say, by the end, it had 2 scenes or 3 scenes that were so gripping and so intense. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty good, to be honest, unless it just goes off, you know, down the pan kind of now. But yeah, so far we were like, oh my goodness, that was so gripping. And there was one character, he was so horrible. Yeah, it was good. So yes, we've kind of started watching that. Now I have to say, I hate watching a couple of things at the same time, but I had also started watching just before we've gone away for the weekend, started watching something called Departure, which I hadn't ever seen that advertised on Netflix or anything, so I don't know whether that's new on there. I think it said it's got 3 seasons, so it's not like I can just quickly finish that to watch Squid Game. I'm going to be with that for a little while because it's obviously a long one, but I'm quite enjoying that, I have to say. Although when I then tried to watch that last night after watching Squid Game with my son, yeah, I struggled to kind of like get back into it. That could just be where I was by then quite tired, could be where I'd watched a bit of Squid Game, or it could just be where, you know, I'd been away from the weekend or for the weekend and then I couldn't really remember what had been going on before the weekend sort of thing with it. I don't know, but that's annoying, isn't it, when that sort of thing happens, because then you're like, oh, you know, I can't now remember what what was going on in this. But anyway, so I'm going to stick with it because I was enjoying it, you know, last week when I'd started watching it. I think I'm about like 4 episodes in. Although I have to say last night, I did kind of find myself having to re-watch, you know, like the episode 3 because I couldn't really remember, you know, what had been happening. I mean, that's just probably me, memory like a sieve. And to be honest, can't retain what I did 10 minutes ago. So yeah, no hope whatsoever. Okay. So maybe something like that I think would look quite pretty on there. Okay. Just pop this one down. I can't tell whether that's up the right way or the wrong way. I think it must have been the right way, but do I like it that way or do I prefer it more this? Let's just check. Oh no, probably like that. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just going to glue that down. Oh, and of course on Christmas Day it was the Gavin and Stacey special. So yeah, for anyone who is in the UK, you probably do know of Gavin and Stacey. For anyone not in the UK, I apologise that I'm talking about it, you know, but you maybe have watched it on, oh, what's that thing called? BritBox. You've maybe watched it on there or something. I don't know whether it would necessarily be that funny if you weren't in the UK, whether you'd think that the humour was a bit strange. But we absolutely love that in our house. So it was on Christmas Day. So that was the big, you know, the big thing to watch on Christmas Day. And I have to say that was the only thing that we watched on Christmas Day. We didn't watch anything else. But oh my goodness, it was so good. They just got it absolutely perfect. You know, like it was such a good finish to, you know, what was such a brilliant series. I mean, that series, I think, was something like 2000 and... Did I think 2003 or something? I mean, like a phenomenally long time ago, to be honest. But they've really kept the excitement going for all these years. So, yeah. And I thought that the last Christmas special that they'd done, which had left the whole where she proposed, so it had left that hanging in the balance of, oh my goodness, is he going to say yes or no? I thought was only 2 years ago. Do you know, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, which, again, I mean, what on earth happens with the time? I cannot keep track of time at all, but yeah, I couldn't believe it. Because at first I thought, oh, some of them look really different, you know, to the last Christmas special, which I thought, well, that was only a couple of years ago. And then they said something about something being 5 years. And I thought, really? So I Googled it and I'm sure it had said, it might have even said 2018. Although that sounds a really long time ago. I can't really remember, but yeah, it was obviously longer ago than I'd, you know, originally thought. So anyway, it's all done now and it's all over. But oh, it was so good. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Yeah, but that was the only thing that we watched on the whole of Christmas Day, I've got to be honest. I mean, it's strange, but I think just life has kind of changed now, hasn't it? You know, everyone used to be watching TV all the time, and I just don't think people do now. You know, I think because people are watching their own things now on like Netflix and things like that. So it's not like you can just dip in and out with other people necessarily, because you might all be watching different things because there's such a huge, you know, variety of platforms and then different things on those platforms and all of that. So yeah, but anyway, that was so good, we loved it, absolutely loved it. There we go. So that's from the Avery, actually from the background papers, not even the toppers, the perfume collection and the Valentine's collection. These are just from the little French collection pieces that I've torn off of there. And yeah, doesn't that look gorgeous? So I don't have a journal on the go, I'm afraid, at the moment, but I do, but not accessible. I mean, I've got several half-finished projects, but nothing right here, right now that I can just pull in and show you. But I did have somewhere a, yeah, just folded in half piece of coffee dyed paper. So just to show you how that looks. And can you see that's just like a snug fit there on that page? Possibly even needs cutting down slightly more. So I'll just take it down slightly on that edge. There we go. So I would just glue that down on 3 sides and it would be, you know, top loading pocket like that. So yeah. Oh, and just before I do go, I just want to say a massive thank you to anybody who's purchased anything from my shop. So be that on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website or on, you know, my Etsy shop over, you know, the Christmas period or, you know, over the last week. Thank you so, so much. We are a little bit behind with our posting and messages, getting to messages on the website because Natalie obviously hasn't been working over Christmas and she is the person who keeps on top of that. But she will be in this week. So all orders between Christmas and New Year will be posted out this week. And obviously we'll be replying to messages and things. So, yep, that's kind of all really on that. And yeah. Hope that you enjoyed the mass making session today. I hope you feel inspired to make some of these gorgeous little slot pockets. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much then. Bye.